So, Donald Trump has just been voted the worst president in U.S. history in a recent poll, conducted as part of the Presidential Greatness Project, which assesses the historical standing of U.S. presidents. And it should come as a surprise to no one.
So former President Donald Trump has been ranked as the worst president in office during the last 150 years and the fourth worst overall.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Former President Trump ranked among the worst in history.
This project, led by political science professors Brandon Rottinghaus from the University of Houston and Justin Vaughn from Coastal Carolina University, aimed to rank all 45 U.S. presidents, spanning from George Washington to Joe Biden. Scholars rated Donald Trump poorly at 10.9 out of 100, making him the lowest-ranked president in a recent survey. He remains the most polarizing president, with widely divided opinions. Abraham Lincoln was ranked the highest at 93.9 out of 100 in the survey. Following closely were Franklin D. Roosevelt, George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, and Thomas Jefferson, securing second to fifth positions. The survey revealed negative perceptions of Trump across party lines. Even among Republicans, he ranked 41st out of 45, and Democrats rated him the lowest at 45th place, below Herbert Hoover. President Joe Biden received mixed reviews, with Democrats ranking him 13th and Republicans ranking him 30th. Professors Rottinghaus and Vaughn noted Biden's role as a contrast to Trump's, emphasizing his traditional leadership style and efforts to prevent Trump's return to office. The professors emphasized that these rankings provide a snapshot in time, showcasing how perceptions of leaders can change over time. Interestingly, the rankings of recent presidents can shift. For instance, Barack Obama climbed 9 places from 16th in 2015 to 7th in 2024. On the flip side, Andrew Jackson, who served almost 200 years ago, experienced a drop of 12 places despite the passage of time. The survey's report pointed out that a heightened focus negatively impacted Andrew Jackson's ranking on his poor track record with Native Americans. Thus, according to the scholars, what stands out in these results is not just a stronger emphasis on a president's political affiliation, but also a growing consideration of a president's commitment to political and institutional norms as a factor in determining their greatness. In December 2019, President Trump faced impeachment, making him the third president to do so. I mean, he literally set a new record by being impeached for the second time. However, judging a president solely by impeachment, which relies on Congress composition, isn't entirely objective. Trump's actions, particularly his continuous use of his office for personal gain, demonstrate his disregard for his oath. 3 key betrayals further highlight his unique historical status. Firstly, he neglected the national security interest of the United States in favor of his own political agenda. Secondly, during the severe pandemic, he failed to effectively respond, not mobilizing the necessary resources to save lives and even encouraging behaviors that spread the disease. Lastly, faced with accountability for his failures, he refused to concede defeat and instead incited an insurrection, leading a mob to storm the Capitol. I mean, that's not very mask-on fascist of him. Trump also prioritized his political interest over his duty as president. As a candidate, he openly sought Russia's help to obtain his opponent's emails. When Russia hacked and released these emails, he used them to imply wrongdoing, amplifying Russian disinformation. Investigations during his term did not directly tie him to Russian hacking, but his obstructive conduct hindered these inquiries. His approach to immigration, tax policy, use of public funds for personal gain, trade decisions, and strained relationships with traditional allies marked him as an unsuccessful modern president. However, these failures primarily relate to the first part of his oath. Trump's distinction as possibly the worst president ever stems from 3 pillars without a parallel in Nixon's era. He stands out as the first president since the U.S. became a superpower to prioritize his political needs over national security. Unlike Nixon's mishandling of peace negotiations, Trump's serial subservience to foreign leaders like Erdogan, Kim Jong-un, and Putin have severe implications for U.S. interests. His attempt to pressure Ukraine for political gain, leading to his first impeachment, was just one glaring example of a broader pattern of corruption defining his entire foreign policy. The second significant issue is Trump's failure in handling the COVID-19 pandemic, which is expected to claim at least 400,000 American lives by the time he leaves office. Despite his promise to end American carnage in his inaugural address, his presidency witnessed unnecessary death and suffering due to the pandemic. Unlike Nixon, who could be an efficient administrator between political maneuvers, Trump's response to the pandemic lacked foresight and effective action. Although previous presidents like FDR during the Pearl Harbor attack faced unexpected threats, Trump's handling of the pandemic diverged significantly. While FDR adapted and managed responses, Trump, lacking intellectual and leadership skills, denied the severity of the challenge. He downplayed the importance of mask wearing and social distancing, focusing more on potential damage to the economy. Trump claimed leadership in America's COVID-19 response, but his actions fell short. He neglected crucial issues such as increasing testing, securing protective equipment, and ventilators. Unlike FDR's effective management of the Liberty Ship program, Trump disregarded expert advice, seeking quick solutions instead of making tough choices. Although he invested in vaccine development, he neglected the intricate logistical effort required for their administration. Taking an unprecedented stance against basic public health measures, Trump's tweets in April 2020 urging the liberation of states marked a divisive turn. Organizing rallies that violated health guidelines further fueled disunity and risked public health. By turning requests from hard-hitting states into partisan attacks, he escalated tensions during the pandemic. Even as COVID-19 deaths climbed, Trump persisted in opposing health mandates, bullying leaders advocating mask wearing and holding large rallies. His personal battle with the virus did not lead to a more responsible approach. Instead, he used experimental treatment access to downplay the disease's severity, endangering those around him. And that was a running theme with him. This brother was a danger to everyone. Comparing past presidents' responses to epidemics, Trump stands out negatively. While Obama and Bush effectively managed Ebola and AIDS threats, respectively, Wilson and Reagan faced criticism. However, neither actively promoted risky behavior for political gain or obstructed partnerships to control disease spread, setting Trump apart in this aspect.
We're in great shape. We have it totally under control.
The third key aspect against Trump involves his significant role in the attempted insurrection on January 6th. While racism and violent nativism existed before Trump, his use of the presidential platform planted the seeds for the events of that day. Not since Andrew Johnson had a president publicly sympathized with racist sense of victimhood. Nixon, to an extent, foreshadowed Trump by using race covertly for political realignment. However, Trump took it further, openly using race to transform the Republican Party into a white supremacist minority movement relying on fear, disenfranchisement, and disinformation. Both Trump and Nixon aimed to subvert efforts to deny them re-election. Nixon approved dirty tricks and an illegal espionage program, ultimately leaving office due to revelations about his role in the subversion. Trump, despite not winning re-election, attempted to overturn the 2020 election, marking an unprecedented move by a defeated incumbent to misuse the power of his office. The 2020 election, held during a pandemic, tested the resilience of American democracy. State and local officials encouraged mail-in and advanced voting to ease pressure on same-day voting. Trump, however, sowed doubt about the fairness of the election even before voting began. You know that one child on the playground that's just a sore loser? That's him. When the results didn't favor him, he intensified his disinformation campaign, alleging fraud without evidence. Trump's allies sought legal intervention, but lacking proof, they lost in court. Despite exhausting constitutional options, Trump refused to concede. Here, Trump surpassed Nixon and predecessors. In 1974, when the Supreme Court ordered Nixon to turn over tapes, he complied, accepting his political fate. Trump, on the other hand, heading into January 6th, knew he lacked the votes for victory or to prevent certification. Instead of accepting defeat, he urged Vice President Mike Pence to unconstitutionally obstruct the count and incited his followers to pressure Congress. When Pence upheld the Constitution, Trump unleashed his supporters, aiming to disrupt the electoral count. This deviation from the system and oath of office marked an unprecedented and concerning move by a sitting president, and unsurprisingly has earned him a spot in the naughty list of history's pages. Do you think there's been a worse president than Donald Trump? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.